Good afternoon, fans of Rando, and welcome to another presentation of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. Today we have an open match in Week 1 in co-op all dungeons. I am one of your commentators, Talon116, joined by Dark Shadow. How you doing, Dark?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Always happy to do some commentary for the league, and especially for co-op weeks.
Yeah. Co-op, personally, one of my favorite modes. I mean, running randomizer is fun in and of itself, but when you got someone to call with you, have some banner with while you're running, it just makes it that much better.
That's right. We have... Alright, so we have two teams in the open division out of the Turtle Rock division. We have Validation Chest Boots, represented by Tyvarius and Shooter, against the Jacuzzi Gamers with Derthys and Jean-Christophe. And here we go. Alright, so what we got here is 4 runners, and we have 2-player teams. So on the left is a team, and on the right is a team, and they are in a call right now, sharing information with one another about what they find. And the goal here is an all-dungeon seed, so we need to beat both Agas, all other 10 dungeons, and then beat Ganon at the end. And our runners are going to be sharing information to try to avoid as much dungeon dipping as possible. You know, you can skip this chest here, go here, to get their go mode as quick as possible to reach the goal. And the ending in the winner is determined by average time. So just finishing first is not good enough. Your team average has to be better than the other. We have crabs dropping 8-pack bombs, which is great. And little peek at the lumberjack. Nothing going on there today.
We still have to kill Aga because it is an all-dungeon seed. However, we don't have to rush for it. So on our bottom half, it looks like the Shooter and Jean-Christophe are both doing the woods. However, I want Derthys deciding to check the dam before checking Hyrule Castle.
Yeah. So yeah, and gets rewarded with a hookshot just sitting there in the drained spot. Tyvarius trying to farm that next tier of tree pulls. Just get single rupees, and we're going to see them. Yep, they're going to go south as well. So having the lamp up in the mushroom spot, definitely not going to be hurting for a fire source or a light source.
And hookshot's a very nice movement option early on if you don't have the boots. As long as you got trees and signs in the way, you'll be zipping across just as if you had just about as good as boots in some cases.
Yeah, I'm never sad to see a hookshot. It's my favorite item in the game, and if used properly, can really help cover some ground quickly. Also serves as a great weapon. Oh, good! Mushroom on the Mini Molorm NPC, so lots of random one-off items. Nice glove also out of Mini Molorm.
Yeah, as you said, we've got fire, we've got glove, we've got hookshot, we've got some decent movement early. We got the fire source. Hookshot, while it is somewhat of a weapon, we still can't really defeat enemies other than bombs at this moment.
Tyvarius, not wanting to chase the bush crabs for bombs, not going to be able to get the Mini Molorm Cave just yet, as we see Derthys continue along to Ice Rod Cave.
And we see Blue Mail in the well, not going to scoff at some early armor.
Yeah, no shame of grabbing that armor, especially early, because another thing that you'll sometimes notice in co-ops is each runner kind of has their own comfort level as far as heart levels. And so it's not uncommon to see one runner with 12, 13, 14 hearts and the other runner with 7. So if that early mail is available, yeah, we're just going to grab that.
Now, Tyvarius also was able to check the stun prize. We know that the stun prize is just 5 rupees.
Sick Kid, hold on to the flippers.
Well, that's a nice early find. We're not going to see fake flippers.
And even more cash out of the tavern. So I think we've seen a couple 300s right now. So Tyvarius just resolving themselves having to buy bombs. As Derthys now is going to go up and check the Uncle in Hyrule Castle for their team.
And so we saw 300 in the back of the tavern, and we saw a 300 in, I believe it was Link's house. It was either Link's house or Sanctuary. So we've got Bottle Vendor and Zora money right off the start.
Tyvarius dipping into the well just to grab that bottle and then bounce right back out. Their partner already doing the hard work for them there.
So early game, there's a couple of schools of thought that you see. One is split up early, make sure that one person's doing like your Lost Woods in Kakariko Village, the other person doing like Hyrule Castle South Shore. There's another option though in pincering Kakariko Village, one from the top, one from the south, because odds are, what are the odds that you're going to be able to skip Kakariko? Something's going to be there.
Yeah, Kakariko being the most dense area right off the top, usually hiding something good. Very much all in favor of, trying to diversify the work, being as split up as possible throughout the race. But yeah, there are times where, if that early game just doesn't offer anything, doing Kakariko from top bottom is not always a bad thing. So looks like Sheener's going to head down to the dam and then hopefully over to Mini Moldorm as Tyvarius skips over, maybe doing some flipper checks. Oh, Tyvarius not grabbing their flippers off the Sick Kid. I wonder if that was just a misclick.
Maybe a slight miscommunication or just forgot. There are some times where just information overload and you can miss one or two things, and that can cause problems later on.
So I see a cape, a lamp, a sword, a glove and hook shot to get across the river. Where's this pearl hiding? Waterfall Fairy is giving out blue potions. That's always nice. But yeah, I would definitely be looking for a pearl and just send one of the runners to Aga 1 and start pushing through the Dark World.
There's also a possibility that the pearl's just sitting on the pyramid ledge.
Oh yeah, very possible.
There is a point to be made for saying one runner go through Aga Tower and the other runner go through Eastern, because it's all dungeons. You have to clear Aga Tower anyway, so it's not really wasted time. You're not going to get a whole lot more to go up the tower than cape, lamp, and sword.
Our runners have really covered a lot of ground here, so it's kind of starting to get onto that point of who wants to do what. Shooter having plenty of money. A little surprised they didn't want to push for Zora. But, oh, maybe they're just going to do the water checks from this direction.
Yeah, Shooter's going to go ahead and do those north checks. Tyvarius. There is one other option that we failed to mention. They have mountain access.
Yeah, especially with that hookshot, that mountain is wide open and could definitely be calling to one of our runners.
Yeah, about the only thing they can't do right now is Tower of Hera.
Cheater robbing the hobo for what little money they have left. Back of escape, 20 bucks, heart container, and a garbage map.
So it looks like Derthys and Jean-Christophe are backtracking each other, one getting the lamp, the other getting their cape and sword. And Tyvarius, this might be that mountain play. Or Tyvarius.
Yeah, I like this play by Tyvarius. Push up the mountain, that hook shot, giving you that access to the east side and the sometimes bounty that is Paradox Cave.
It's 7 chests. You gotta pay it off.
So we see Jean-Christophe going in to grab their sword out of the front of escape. Gotta push a little farther in. I didn't see what else was in here, so it must have been something I missed.
Yeah, unfortunately I missed as well. Oh, and almost forgot me to get the bottle for those flippers as well for Derthys. The shooters going into the castle did.
Oh, it was the book at the base in Zelda Cell. Interesting.
That might be important.
Yeah, potentially could be nothing, but it does give them access to the Desert Palace right now. It could potentially still be boots locked, but maybe something they have to go do anyway.
If it's not boots locked, then it's a full clear green pendant. Minus boots.
Yeah, it looks like Derthys is heading that direction. I like this play from them as well. Just seeing, I mean, if nothing else, you're going to gain the knowledge if you need boots or not. But you're right. If it's nothing and you don't, then you can just grab the green pendant before you ever head to touch Saha. There's the pearl sitting up in Paradox Cave.
Well then.
And that's about all, but that's enough. As we were talking before, that would be enough to send somebody to up through Aga 1. Keep one member of your team in the light world pushing through those Sphere 1 and Sphere 0 checks, and then send the other right into the dark world and have them start clearing.
Now there is one other catch with the early Aga, and that does bring in the altered light world, the harder enemy sets. And that also brings up the question of what can we do in the dark world? We can do Pyramid Ledge. There is that off chance, though, that when you go to Palace of Darkness, you get one check. Well, you can cross into Western Dark World with the hookshot, though. So yeah, there is a lot that can be done in Dark World because of the hookshot.
Yeah, you can definitely cross that river. You can check the catfish, and then once you're across the river, you can potentially meet Thieves Town. Even though you may get locked out of the big chest, you can dip into Skull Woods. You can do the full loop around, get all the way to Hype Cave. There's plenty of things to check. We see Shooter getting the book out of Zelda Cell and then choosing to walk out having already killed the enemies. There we go. Like I say, yeah, having Tyvarius already having done the back, a little surprising they just didn't want to save and quit out of there and leave Dark Cross.
I don't see if they have the cape, which is kind of surprising, because that was on Uncle. They may be thinking that they won't need that cape to do Aga early, though.
Saw giving us a pin's offering in the souls of past children. But yeah, if that cape really only is just blocking Aga 1, they may not feel like they need it quite yet. So yeah, Shooter gonna head over to the desert area. Maybe see them go inside, and then Tyvarius is gonna go ahead and push into Eastern. A little surprised we don't have someone going to Aga 1 having that dark access. But mopping up your spheres here on Sphere 1 is fine.
Yeah, anything could be there.
Right, we could just have a bow sitting in here to finish Eastern. You don't want to leave your boots behind in Eastern for a long time if necessary. We see that mushroom really not paying off. Just 20 bucks from the bottle vendor, or I'm sorry, the potion shop. Tyvarius may be holding off to do Hyrule Castle until he knows if he needs the book. That way, potentially, he can just grab the sword and then go right into Aga 1 from there.
And that's not a bad plan. And then, as long as at least one has a book, they'll be able to still know what's on the tablets if it comes down to that.
So we see Jean-Christophe, and I apologize if I'm saying their name wrong, having their pearl off the mountain. Looks like maybe they are going to be pushing into Aga 1 here, as Derthys pushes into the eastern area. I'm a big fan of this kind of divergence.
Yeah, it's looking like light world checks are dwindling down.
Yeah, and it does look like we are boots locked out of desert with just the compass sitting in the map chest.
And odds are pretty good that they're about to be bow locked out of the back of Eastern. Those gold guards are a bit of a pain with the fire sword, but hey, at least we got hookshot to stun them.
Yeah, to echo chat, fighter sword Aga 1 sucks.
Am I the weird one that doesn't mind fighter sword Aga 1?
I don't know that it's weird, but if you're going to own it, just own it. It can be a pretty tiring fight and climb. Plenty of red guards and ball of chain guards can really just slow you down. Yeah, Eastern completely coming up empty. So this is this definitely is an Aga seed.
So before long, we'll be able to ask the question: how many blue balls from Aga?
It might just be recency bias, but I feel like Aga hasn't been horrible lately, so give me 6.
I feel like most of the time it's like 4.
And we can kind of see the difference in routes here. You have The top runners having 6 and 7 hearts, and then the bottom runners having 5. So
Yeah, and as we said earlier, that blue mail really helps with that because blue mail pretty much doubles your hearts.
yeah, pretty much it just kind of doubles what pool you're sitting on with that extra defense. So again, one of those things like blue mail available and on the way, always grab it. Red mail, you can take your chances what you want to do with that. So Tyvarius going to go grab their sword. Might see them go down and just pick up the book since they're in the area. But then I would guess definitely head to Daga 1. Junior grabbing their pearl now, I guess would be heading that way as we see Jean at the top getting ready to take on Aga 1. Derthys going to head to the mountain and grab their pearl and sure join them. So it's an Aga party. Yeah, Tyvarius deciding just to grab the sword and say forget the book for right now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trek to get down there, and if they're on blue mail, then the death warp takes quite a bit of extra time. So if they don't need the book, this is going to be a bit of a time save. If they do need the book, maybe
that's not going to be. If they end up needing the book, that's not going to be a fun walk of shame.
I mean, if they get boots before then, it might end up about the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think I would have erred on the side of caution and just grabbed it anyway. But you're right, with boots, that's a much faster trek down there, or even mirror just to get out faster.
Or even just being able to save Quid out.
Yeah, so Jean gets through their Aga 1 fight. He's going to give us our first look into Dark World. The pyramid is just $20. Enjoy. So we'll see if they want to go ahead and dip pot or if they want to go ahead and route around the river. Oh, Shooter realizing they had no magic, having to go back and try to grab some magic out of these pots so they can use the cape to get through there, and they get it. Guards being in the good pack, bailing them out. York's wife in chat saying that we have 3 blue balls today, so pretty average.
Yeah, and we're seeing catfish first, which, if you're the first one of the pair into the Dark World, I kind of like, getting like one of the out of the way checks, and then maybe one goes, maybe first one in goes to the goes over the river, and the other one goes to pod.
Yeah, you can ask my league teammates. I'm a strong proponent of if you are the first one there, you have to do the bad checks. So if you're the first one in Dark World via Aga, you are doing catfish. You know, if you're the first one in Swamp, you're doing left side. That's just how this game is played. Tyvarius going to be a little careful here, sitting on 1 heart. Okay, gets a little bit of a heart drop from the red guard there. I know they have a blue they just got, so could just snag it and use it if they wanted to, but I'm going to try to save their resources.
Yeah, early on, definitely want to have that resource management.
The Shooter not playing around, go ahead and use their cape on that second Aga room just to try to force their way through. Don't blame them.
So after safe quitting from catfish, we do see the play across the river for the first significant set of Dark World checks here.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this. Without the right resources or the ability to mimic clip, pod can get you locked out. Oh, Shooter takes a death. Gonna have to start from the front now. But yeah, without having a bow or the ability to mimic clip, you know, you can get locked out of pod very, very quickly. So first one there, just start doing the Dark World loop, see what you can find.
Now they do have a bottle to do the screen unlock. But still, without... Well, yeah, they need to be keys there, but... Yeah, it's always best to do end logic first, I think, just to maybe find that boat. Or a Master Sword.
Yeah, the absolute nightmare that is that first room with Fighter Sword. Those gold guards definitely giving Shooter the business there. Able to finally slip through them. As Sean gonna go ahead and take a dip into Pendant Thieves Town. No hammer, but the hammer could just be here.
Yeah, and it's all dungeons, so Pendant, Crystal, it's about the same. So far, we've got a big key and a map out of Thieves Town. And our third chest. Oh, it's an item. It's a piece of heart.
Tyvarius going to take the other method here. He's going to push into pod and see what they could find.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we've seen a Dark World map check yet.
Oh, Shooter getting stabbed again. But yeah, no, some teams are opposed to just doing map checks. It's all dungeons anyway, so, you know, you've got to do them, so it doesn't really matter which is which.
Yeah, it only really matters if you think there's something behind the big bomb or on the Ted or on Saha.
So we see Shooter, and I've seen the other runners try to do this Fighter Sword spin method against the ball and chain guards. The Fighter Sword spin and just a slash are basically the same in this scenario. It's 8 slashes or 8 spins. So in this case, you would probably be a little better served stunning the guards with your hook shot and then just slashing them until they die.
Now, if you can catch them on that middle bar, you can get a double spin on them, but yeah, those guards are just rough unless you stun them.
Yeah. Regardless, you know, the best strategy is don't die and, you know, do what's safe for you to get through it. Well, pulling the mitts out of the second chest in Pendant Pod there for Tyvarius, so they'll have a little easier access to the Dark World now. Derthys having made their way through, I would guess would probably head that direction since their partner went across the river. So I don't think that'll be a real point of contention for the teams for quite a bit.
The fun thing about those mitts is in terms of Dark World access, it gets you to Dark Death Mountain on the hookshot side, on the east side. But the only entrance into Hyrule, into the Dark World from Hyrule, is just over at Village Outcasts. Well, in Ice Palace. But they can't do anything in Ice Palace yet.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if either of the teams are thinking about Ice Palace right now. But we had Tyvarius executing a really good potion unlock glitch to get to this right side and get a couple keys, and then they're going to take the Death Warp and go right back to the front.
And with that damage, actually confirms they did not pick up the blue mail.
And over on the Jacuzzi Gamer side, Jean putting on that cape, getting through a blind fight, And grabbing the first dungeon completion of the game, not counting Aga 1. Was able to pick up a Master Sword, so a little bit of armament increase, but that's all they're going to really pull out of there. I did not notice if the big chest had an item, though.
I know we had 2 in the front 4.
All right, we see Derthys and Pod going to grab their mitts in just a second. There they are. Be able to communicate that to their teammate. As Jean continues their push through Vu, and then I would assume the south checks as well. Probably making an ending point at Hype Cave.
Yeah, hopefully today Hype Cave lives up to its name.
It looks like Shooter took another death, this time all the way up on Aga 1. It's going to have to climb the tower again.
Yeah, taking a death on either tower is so punishing.
Yeah, and for newer and veteran runners alike, Fighter Sword or Aga 1, it can just be so brutal. Because if you get off your pace or your step even once, or get caught by one of these dagger guards and forced into a corner, there's just no real way out before you're just down 3 or 4 hearts before you even know it. So Tyvarius pushing through Pod, getting all the stuff they can get out of there now, and just deciding to leave. Looks like only the mitts really to speak of, maybe a Master Sword as well.
We just had a, I don't know, do we call that a chocolate flute?
Oh, was it just sitting on Stumpy?
Yep.
Gross. So still not seeing the boots. I'm sure any runner would be very excited to see that flute for a little bit of movement tech, but, you know, flute and mitts, that's the Mire area is available as well, but it also, with those mitts, the ability to go into East or Dark Death Mountain.
And the key guard, like halfway up, are the only ones you really need to kill, outside of the first 4 enemies.
We got Blue Cane. That's like a 2 out of 10 Hype Cave.
Yeah, that hype game, not that great.
And we're not getting that flute activation yet. Which, it looks like they're going for the mitts. Now, it makes sense. The flute activation would not make getting these mitts any faster.
Right, and without the mitts, it kind of feels like Jean's kind of at the end of their rope as well, as far as what they can and cannot do. So mitts are the next logical progression choice, so you might as well just go grab them.
I'm surprised we have not seen a check of Skull Woods yet.
Oof. Shooter almost get 1.0 there.
Oh, this is going to be an Aga fight on half a heart. So one thing about fighting Aga, usually you want to stand directly to the left or right, so that way, if he shoots the blue balls will split around you and not actually hit you.
Yeah, underneath or on top can really cause a problem. And because they did take a death on the fight, Shooter's gonna have a much different, potentially different fireball pattern than the other runners did. Oh.
The Fire Sword does mean a little less range. Looks like not much out of Hookshot Cave or Dark Death Mountain in general.
Here we see the Bombos Medallion for a TR entrance. Both teams getting that information. Yeah, the trouble for Shooter here is this, there's nothing else for them to be able to do. There's no place else to go get more hearts. There's no place for them to... I mean, they could potentially go top a bottle off if they don't have one already. But there's no extra offense. There's no extra weaponry. There's no extra defense. This is what they're dealing with, and they're just gonna have to muscle through it.
Now, if they do have one thing that could be done, they have one bottle and they have a chunk of rupees. Go buy a red potion. Or go buy a blue potion, because you can use Cape on Aga and still swing and reflect those blasts back. You just can't spin with the Cape, but you can still slash.
Oh, you can spin with the cape.
I'm thinking blue, Kane. Never
Yeah.
mind. So Turtle Rock was Bombo's requirement. What's going to be Mire here?
That looked like Ether, I think.
Yep.
Okay, we'll just keep guard vision there. It's fine.
Hello, Mirror.
Yeah, it's another great find for the Jacuzzi gamers. Definitely going to want that mirror as soon as possible. I'm sure Derthys wishes they had that mirror right now. It looked like they're grabbing the Smith.
There was
And
a full
that
heart in the
is
back of escape. Full heart
Ugly
in
set of
Saw's Claw.
locations for the flute and the mirror.
It's all good, dude.
Into the hammer.
Oh, speaking of, yeah, that mirror, on the other hand, is in a great spot if you want to grab that hammer. The Jacuzzi gamers are just grinding now. They've got a lot of good openings. Let me tell you about the mirror, the flippers, the hammer, and the hookshot, and my favorite dungeon.
Wait. A certain one that you really don't want to go to unless you have the hook shot?
It says you. That's my second home. So we see Tyvarius trying to push through their food checks now. Hopefully, we'll make their way down and go ahead and grab that flute as well, and potentially leading them to the mirror and the hammer eventually. So their shooter gets through it. Good job pushing through that. That had to be... I can only imagine how frustrating that had to have been. And we've all been there. Every one of us has been into a dungeon situation where we just get locked up. I know they're a newer runner. I'm willing to bet this is probably one of their first restreams, so I can only imagine the nerves cranking on them anyway. So good job pushing through that.
So with that setup for the flute, the mitts, the mirror, so that's going to allow Tyvarius to get into Desert Palace without that hook. We saw that Ether Tablet was just 20 rupees. So unless the Bombos tablet is something, they might get paid off by not getting that book.
Yeah, it could be a great bailout for them, and it would definitely be a boon, a little bit of a time save. But we see Shooter probably after Tyvarius kind of told them what they've found and mostly what they haven't found. Gonna see them go into pot. I would guess probably just grab their mitts and just bamf right back out. Maybe dig in there for the sword that's hiding somewhere in there, but
We saw a nice little bomb Harapot.
yeah, it's an interesting call. With Derthys already having done Dark Death Mountain and finding what I believe to be nothing, Jean's push to go right into Hera seems like quite the aggressive play when you have access to some other things that don't require another mountain trip, but I guess someone has to do it. I mean, you could hope that you could just finish up here on Hera before Ganon's Tower, but it is a crystal, it is required. And again, if they pull something out of here, it could be very great. Derthys getting really paid off with that information about the mirror, just being able to route right back with the frog to turn this all in.
The other interesting thing, like the interesting thing about the loadout here is we've got no bow, we've got no rod, we've got no medallion, no Samaria, no boots.
Does pull Bombos out of the front of the Smith chain, though.
And my fire rod and ice palace senses are tingling.
Oh, wow. And then Samaria just sitting on the magic bat.
Well, we weren't doing fake powder today. So at this point, this is where you're glad you're doing co-op, because we're getting down to the point where someone's going to have to dip a dungeon that they might not be able to clear.
I don't know. There's plenty of dungeons you can clear whether you like it or not. Ice Palace is available. Swamp is available. With a Samaria and a Bombos, you can go into TR. May not be able to get very far, but you can get inside it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's two dungeons that's clearable. They might split up and go one apiece.
And they see Tyvarius taking down the first dungeon for their team. Purple chest just having $50, so just need the front end of that Smith chain. See Sean following their partners, the information, gonna go right for that Bombos and Samaria. Let's see what they want to do with it afterwards as we see Cheater joining Tyvarius in Vu.
And then Derthys is going to go ahead and do their Thieves' Town. And with that hammer, they'll be able to check the big chest if there is an item in it. But currently, we're looking bow, fire rod, ice rod, ether, and yeah, and we need the boots for desert.
That's right.
So if you're in Jacuzzi Gamer shoes, I'm thinking split up one full clear, one full clear swamp, the other full clear ice.
Yeah, 100%. That would be where I'm at. Derthys coming into Thieves Town, probably just to grab that sword and the bottle sitting in there. Knows there's nothing else really here, but gonna grab this dungeon while they're in the area. Makes sense. You're already here, might as well just snatch it up. Tyvarius, though, grabbing their flute. Sure, happy to see that.
Now, Tyvarius has the tempered sword, and I'm trying to remember where both swords were. I think one was in Pod, right?
Yeah, there's a sword in Pod, and there's also a sword in Thieves Town, I believe.
Here's that big chest.
Yeah, so Death is confirming for their partner. Nope, it's good. You never have to come back here until you want to. Until never. Red Veil hiding on the dig spot. One of those things, if you feel like you need the extra safety, it's not too far out of the way.
Yeah, depending on where that shovel was, I missed where the shovel was.
That'd be something pretty recent, because only Jean has it, so I'm guessing probably in the mire area.
It might have been right in the cave right outside.
Oh yeah, K45, very possible. So we see Tyvarius going to activate their flute, then turn in the smith, and see what they want to do with that. Derthys takes out Blind in a great fight, and finishes another dungeon for their team.
And on the Bombos tablet, we have...
Oh! Jacuzzi Gamers are making some great calls right now that are really leading them to some required items.
It also may be a problem for Tyvarius later. And it's really going to depend where that second bow is or where the boots are.
I can see Tyvarius going right back into the Dark World to grab the purple chest, having already started the Smith Chain, so hopefully we'll just grab it on their way down. Oh, that's right. Never mind. Meyer has the mirror. I take it back. You're right.
Well, also, the book is in Zelda's cell still.
Oh, that is a great point. I forgot. We had pretty much... I had pretty much written off the book as being important. And come to find out, it may be critically important. We do see Tyvarius going into the mire area. We'll be able to grab their mirror and then supposedly hammer right afterwards. Derthys making the first dip into Skull Woods for us.
Skull Woods is a lot... the middle part of it is a lot friendlier with that red cane. And we got boots. So we got the big key and the room with where you open the chest and it makes the hole spawn. We've got... Oh my. We got boots in the big chest, and we got the fire rod in the middle portion.
Yeah, French vanilla fire rod. Woof. No thank you. But yeah, Derthys immediately paid off and being able to tell her partner, hey, just so you know, here's the good stuff. So Jacuzzi Gamer's really just down to what, Ether and Ice Rod, it looks like.
Yeah, Ether Ice Rod for no mode. And since they're in the area, they're able to find out that the pet is dead. We got a nice little diver down in Swamp. How many glitches are there in Swamp Palace alone?
All of them. There's all of them.
I know there was one found that lets you finish Swamp Palace without the hammer.
As the developers intended, I'm sure. But yeah, like I thought, Tyvarius is going to grab this purple chest, try to finish this smith chain. See Derthys put them off down in a very strong fight, grabbing another dungeon completion for their team as Jean continues to push through Swamp. Tyvarius trying to show a little bit of swag, showing that you can do the magic bat standing backwards. Yeah. But it does get rewarded with that Canis Mario.
We'll be happy with that.
Nice diver down from Sean. And finding the Ice Rod. Jacuzzi Gamers are just rolling with it now. Grabbing that big key. You gotta go back and see what's in the big chest before they finish. Thought they was gonna come into Desert here with those boots and be able to clear this dungeon now. Their team just looking for Ether now.
They get hit with the stair glitch.
Yeah, I've been told there's a way to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't know what that is.
I'll admit, I'm not sure about that, and that was just a compass in the big chest. Yep, and there's that shoveling K-45.
So with the item loadouts that the Jacuzzi Gamers have, I would be very surprised if we didn't see them really just start getting real aggressive on dungeons. We know that Eastern doesn't have anything left. Pod may have an item left, but I don't think so. So those are just clears that need to be done, but TR and Ice Palace both have been untouched and are now clearable, including... so it could be really possible just that the last thing you need is just sitting there.
Yeah, it looks like they can still do a few dungeon splits, like Derthys currently doing Desert Palace, probably into Meyer since they've got... No, wait, Meyer requires Ether, not Bombos.
And Tyvarius gonna charge for Ice Palace and give us some knowledge we haven't seen quite yet.
Yeah, they can full clear it. They've got a Tempered Sword, so Cold Stare shouldn't be too bad.
I thought Shooter at one point for the Validation Chest Boots was heading toward the Skullwoods area. Did they not go in? Because they definitely don't have the goods from within it.
Wait, did they just hook shot latch onto the door frame?
I wonder if it was Tyvarius catching something like the flute and pulling them away from Skullwoods, unfortunately. Oh, Derthys gets absolutely juked by that landmo, unfortunately. just for 50 bucks, but that's the green pendant down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're the one that go over to Pod Eastern area since they can turn in that green pendant.
Yeah, may want to grab that bow first.
Oh, right. Yeah, that might help.
Speaking of which, we may see... So Shooter is heading into this area. May just be heading for Swamp Palace, but let's see if they want to grab the Bombos tablet first. It'd be a great... Very telling for Tyvarius after that, what they need to do.
Oh, Derthys is going Ice Palace instead.
Yeah, the Ice Rod and Swamp in the bow doesn't really get them any help here in Ice Palace, so just going to push here and see what they can do. And, oh no, Shooter taking a death right outside of Swamp Palace.
Oh no.
Any death is pretty rough, but a death in the overworld, it just feels even worse.
I think Jean-C might have forgotten that they have the mirror.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't have a key, and they're stuck in this this left side. I want to...
I think there was a key over here.
Derthys trying to set up the icebreaker glitch here. Looks like they got the block placement, and I'm trying to get that one frame of movement, that one pixel of movement, sorry, to be able to get glitched into the door, and there they go, pushed right through the barrier. Excellent job.
Isn't that vanilla?
Yeah.
Ew.
Nope, Quake Medallion sitting in the Mink Chest of Ice Palace. Not quite the one we need.
A nice clip through the stair rails.
Yeah, that spin strat through the rail of that steps is super swag.
Pulso stair broke apart a little bit there, but not before taking some serious damage. And hey, they're good.
Yeah, nice double spin to finish them off. Hey look, Cold Stare was Samaria locked.
Yeah, I hear you can learn a lot about what can be Ice Palace based on its key logic, but Ice Palace key logic.
Yeah, no one actually knows it. If they claim they do, they're lying. But also, Jean putting down their Montula now has 4 dungeons done on their side, with Derthys being 3. So the Jacuzzi Gamer is definitely having a dungeon completion lead for right now.
And with the exception of one having the bow and the other not, their key item inventory is pretty much exactly the same.
Right. Yeah, the Jacuzzi Gamers have done a great job not only of dividing the work, but keeping pretty even with one another as far as dungeon completions. So again, as we talked about, the results are determined based on the average finish time of both runners. So the team would add their time together and take the average for what their final result would be. So you want to try to be as close to finishing with your partner as possible. That's not always possible, unfortunately, but you want to try to be as close as you can. And the Jacuzzi gamers are doing a great job staying close to one another. Tyvarius going to grab their French vanilla fire rod. Be very excited to see it. As we see Jean go to try the pyramid fairy. Looking for that ether medallion. That's all that team is needing right now.
Now, since they were able, they may not have the tempered sword, but since they got to cold stare with the fire rod, conserving some magic and being able to just wreck the cold stare with the fire rod.
Yeah, pyramid fairy, not the answer, unfortunately.
Just
Say, we probably see Jean head over and just finish off the eastern pot area as well, since they're over here.
there's a potential answer that no one wants to do, and everyone might end up last locationing. And that's Turtle Rock.
Yeah, we're going to see Derthys head in to get their bow. And then, oh, nope, deciding maybe swamp first. No, maybe not. I'm confused. I don't know what I'm doing. Please, okay. Get in their bow first.
And it might have that moment of, wait, I want to go this way. I'll need this, but I want to do this. But I need this, but I want to do this. Okay, I need this.
My rando strategy in a nutshell. Tyvarius, on the other hand, finishing off Mothula with their fire rod. Hopefully we'll check the front and grab those boots. They will need them.
Shooter going back in, looking like going back in to grab the big chest.
Well, they had done left side and then mirrored out rather than swimming out.
Oh, never mind.
So Jean and Pod gonna work their way to the back, I think just to grab their big key and then go beat the boss would be my guess. While Derthys pushes through their swamp clear. Tyvarius leaving the middle part, going to the front of Skullwoods, hopefully to grab their boots. As Schooner continues to push through Swamp Palace and try to clear it for their team. See if there's any goodies just hiding in here.
Oh, and getting that tempered sword. So out of pod, we're just looking at the boss. I'm trying to think between Jacuzzi gamers what they have not seen yet.
I think you nailed it right on the head. It's TR. There, Derthys gets that diver down, grabs their ice rod.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that they haven't seen is Spike Cave. Because really, when's a good time to check Spike Cave?
Never.
I'm trying to remember if we saw King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks.
Oh, no, that's a good point. I don't believe we have. Derthys in there. Argus fight. Gonna try to employ some Master Sword spin strats. Seem to be going okay so far.
Oh, hey, there's
And
Bonk Rocks.
did I completely jinx them? Sorry.
Yeah, getting the double hook into the spin is real nice on Argus. Oh, I got simultaneous explosions.
See Shooter down on Swamp Boss trying to get that. Gets it. Yeah, there you go. Get to that bomb diver down. Finds the ice rod for their team.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the average time is even though Shooter's behind because of Aga Tower, Tyvarius, as long as they're able to get a bunch of exploration done, then they're going to save Shooter a lot of time, and Shooter can go through some of the places that Tyvarius has not gone to yet and save him some time, and they can still come back.
So it looks like Tyvarius is just going to run right behind Shooter into Swamp, potentially grab this ice rod that I would guess probably head right to TR. Still missing that bow that's hiding on Bombo's tablet, so Tyvarius really needs to hope they can find the other bow, or they're going to need to go back into Zelda Cell for that book.
Shooter's doing menu strats here for Argus. I'm not as big a fan of it with the Master Sword, because even if you don't spend 2 slashes, will take care of it. That's about the same as menu time, I think.
Yeah, just 2 slashes is, I would probably say a little bit faster because of the menuing, but at the same time, if you feel like this is the confident way to go, and more importantly, the safer thing to do, then this is what you do, because it is amazing how much damage Argus can put on you with just a couple hits. So if menu strats and hammering is your safe way to do it, then by all means, go for it.
Yeah,
It goes back to what we were talking about before. The difference in health between Tyvarius and Shooter is pretty vast.
Yeah, and that's just because Tyvarius has done so many more checks, and to make up time, Shooter's not going to have time to get that health. And there is that hammer skip in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, Tyvarius employing the Specky skip to great regard. Going to be able to just go right to the back, Shooter clearing all the other bad checks out of Swamp, letting them know, no, just grab your ice rod and go. As we see Derthys popping over in TR and going to dive into the air for us. Looks like maybe Jean's going to grab the boots checks for their team now.
I don't think we've seen the green pendant turning yet.
Yeah, Derthys dropped it off, and it was just a 300.
Oh. Well, we've seen a lot of 300s. we didn't see anything out of these Marin boot checks.
Yeah, so it really feels like the answer has got to be just sitting in TR somewhere.
Yeah, either Turtle Rock or that green pendant, but even then, it's all dungeons. You gotta clear Turtle Rock anyway. The only rough thing about would be if it is on the green pendant, then you gotta make one more climb.
Yeah, maybe ideally, you know, if Meyer were a pendant, you could just rush Ganon's tower and just, you know, grab Meyer after the case. But with Meyer being a crystal, no real choice. You're gonna have to just get it done, and if it means an extra mountain climb, then so be it.
Yeah, it looks like Jean-Christophe's going into desert, so they might go ahead and do desert ice palace, or desert turn in the green pendant and then ice palace before going up to Turtle Rock if that's necessary.
So while Derthys is cleaning through TR, we're going to see Jean go ahead and push through a couple of the dungeons they still need to finish off. As Shooter grabs their Samaria out of the Magic Bat, and now is going to head up, I would guess, head up to get their Fire Rod and Boots out of Skullwoods. As...
An interesting point being brought up. Validation chest boots, they still don't know about that bow on the Bombos tablet.
Yeah, that's... Unless there's just another bow hanging out in TR, this could be a real problem for Tyvarius.
Where is that second bow? Because no one has checked Spike Cave, right?
Yep, that's correct. Great landmill fight by Jean there, just using that fire rod to great effect to put down the landmills. Grab another dungeon clear. The Yakuza gamers are just really burning through these dungeons very quickly.
Yeah. For landmills, I tend to think fire rod might be better even than silvers for that fight.
Yeah, it can be a lot more, maybe not accurate, but just a lot easier to correct from. Whereas if you miss a shot with the bow, you're kind of strong because you can't shoot another arrow with it just sitting out in space. Whereas with the fire rod, you can just rapid fire those things down depending on their movements. Tyvarius hitting the hair pot, gonna head up to finish this dungeon off as we see what is on Laser Bridge.
Got a piece of heart, a key, a compass.
Nothing on Laser Bridge.
Remember how we were saying Turtle Rock is the answer?
If it's not, I don't know what is.
Spike Cave.
Gross. It's very possible, though. I think that's probably our last location, then.
I think the only locations we haven't seen are Trinex and Spike Cave. And honestly, Spike Cave might be the best thing for team validation chest boots.
Yeah, Derthys gets the first head down, as normal, Trinex being an absolute jerk.
And this is a Master Sword Trinex, so it's worse than usual. And on Bluebell, Trinex does a ton of damage.
But there, gets the ice head, just needs to dodge this one. Excellent, okay. Spin, couple hammer hits, avoids the ice. One more. Got it. Good fight. Way to muscle through.
Yep.
Shooter trying to grab this bomb jump in Skullwoods, trying to sit in just the right little pixel to be able to bounce this bomb across.
And there's that ether.
And there it is, sitting on Trinex. So that is go mode for the Choosy Gamers. They know everything they need now.
And burning up that cold stare.
So Derthys going to go into Meyer, being able to get in there first for their team, scout out where that big key is sitting for her partner, or their partner, before being able to finish off the rest of their dungeons. Jean, I would guess, probably heading right up to TR now, not having anything left to do, getting done with their cold stare fight.
Yeah, the path for Jacuzzi Gamers is fairly linear at this point. And Tyvarius is currently in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, we'll grab the required ether out of here, but still missing that second bow, and unless it's in Meyer or Spike Cave, it's going to be a climb back down to Zelda Cell whether you like it or not. But why don't you take a moment just to catch our breath? Let's go ahead and shout out our runners. If you like the race that you're watching and want to give these runners a follow, I'm sure they'd appreciate it. We have Tyvarius and Shooter for Validation Chest Boots, and Derthys and Jean-Christophe from the Jacuzzi Gamers. I also want to give a shout out to our trackers, Arterial and Shasta. Thank you for doing the actual hard work so we can just sit around and talk about it. Appreciate you. And want to shout out my co-com, Dark Shadow 59. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with me for a little bit.
Hey, thanks. It's a pleasure, and hey, give a shout to Talon, my co-commentator as well.
Yeah, I thought for a second I was going to have to solo com this, and I'm like, well, solo com co-op, this will be fun. So I really appreciate you coming in.
Well, thank you.
So Derthys continuing to dig it through Meyer here, looking for that big key.
Yeah, Meyer, one of those dungeons where full clear, go mode, it's about the same. You never know where that big key is.
Yeah, it's one of those times where, of course, it's not going to be a God Meyer when you really can use it.
Yeah, the only time the big key's on your way is when you're looking for something in Meyer.
Right? Preach.
Or when you think you're in go mode and you get the God Meyer, the boots are buried in Meyer, and the big key's on the torch in Ganon's tower.
So Tyvarius sitting here in Mimic Cave, trying to find that ether that we know is just sitting on Trinex.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really unfortunate turn of events, since if they had checked that Bombos tablet, then once Tyvarius finds this ether, they would at least be in no mode. Yeah. Even if you think that Bo's in Spike Cave or Mire, you're just gonna go and get that guaranteed Bo and just call it go mode.
Yeah, I mean, searching for it at that point is kind of irrelevant if you know where one is. And Derthys pulling that big key in potentially the worst place possible.
It's Mire. Mire's always bad. Unless you don't have the lamp, then it's worse.
Yeah, one of our tracker, Shasta, definitely calling out something important. Derthys does pull out another sword out of cutscene chest, which, I mean, cutscene chest is terrible, but that is their third sword. So won't have to dig that fourth one out. So that, I mean, potentially is a benefit.
Trying to go for spooky, but I might not be set up. Okay,
Yeah, half the time I even forget I set spooky, more or less being able to pull it off and hold it. Cheater getting their moth fight down, grabbing another dungeon completion. Will now be tailing behind Tyvarius a little bit, trying to catch up on some of these dungeons.
Okay, spooky is one of those black magic things. I'm just like, how in the world do you do this stuff? Link to the Past. Well-programmed game.
Derthys gonna attack the Vitreous, looking like some Temper Sword spins. Gonna pop that cape on and just go up there and start slashing. The cape, so, yeah, speaking to your well-programmed game comment, A Link to the Past sometimes has trouble doing more than one thing at once. And so, with the cape on, if you just spam slash your sword, that magic drains exponentially slower than what it normally does. And so, in the case of Vitreous, you just put the cape on and just... Oh, okay, well... That is quite the offensively powered dungeon with gold sword and silvers sitting inside it. That might be a huge bailout for Tyvarius if they can just keep following the path to grab their bow.
Yeah, as long as they go straight to Mire, that'll put them in an alternate go mode.
Yeah, more importantly for the Jacuzzi gamers, that's just more offense for their arsenal as they continue to push toward the end of the scene.
Yeah, those silvers, it's not even like they can dodge those silvers at this point. So Jean-Christophe are going to go into their final dungeon. With the gold sword being in the cutscene chest, I doubt they get that, but tempered sword and silvers is still more than enough to blaze through the seed.
Yeah, I would be very surprised to see Jean try to do cutscene chests for that fourth sword. They look like they feel very comfortable in their execution. I would be shocked to see them grab it.
And Derthys just has 3 dungeons, the Eastern Pod combo with Tower of Hera. They get to do the Eastern Pod combo with silvers, so that's going to be even faster than usual.
Tyvarius choosing to dip into desert first. I'm sure trying to find their bow to make their Vitreous fight a little bit easier.
So if you're lacking in firepower, there is something interesting you can do on Vitreous. Rarely is it faster, but there may be situations where it comes up. When Vitreous pokes itself up to do that lightning, you can damage Vitreous itself, and if you do enough damage to kill him, you don't have to kill all the little eyes.
Yeah, sitting on Tempered Sword and potentially Gold Sword when they get there, it may be an instance where Tyvarius just throws the cape on and slashes away and does put down Vitreous before the rest of the eyes are dead. But having that cape and boots, I'm sure I would expect we'll just see some dash strats.
Yeah, dash stretch will, as long as you can hit all the eyes, it'll usually take them down before Vitreous pops up.
Oh, Shooter forgot to grab the key out of the H room, and Ice Palace is going to have to go back for that.
Oh no. Yeah, speak of that Ice Palace key logic we were talking about earlier.
Well, and this is something that came up with some league practice a buddy of mine and I were doing, where sometimes, especially in co-op AD, you're trying to keep your path and what you need to do straight while keeping the notes that your partner is giving you straight, while keeping your execution straight, while keeping all your logic straight. And sometimes you're just so focused on your next step, you just forget what's right in front of you. But yeah, Derthys putting down the Helmsar. We'll see Amir and them go right into Eastern here as Jean pushes through the basement of Meyer, getting ever closer to their GT access.
Collectively, 3 dungeon clears and a GT away from Ganon.
Yeah, the Yakuza gamers have done a great job this scene, really dividing up the work and just pushing toward the different options available to them without overlapping almost at all. So, and it's really paid off. You can see as they're both very close to the end.
Yeah,
the validation chest boots have had a little bit harder of a time. The game required a fighter sword AGA 1 climb that just really beat up on Shooter and kind of put them behind the 8 ball. Tyvarius has done a really good job of pushing through the scene as best they can. But yeah, just the trouble in the beginning of the early seed really kind of put them behind some.
Oh, and there's a death on Cold Stare for Shooter. So, there's a little game we usually like to play involving Ganon's Tower and a certain big key.
Yeah, there are 22 checks that could possibly hold the big team of Ganon's Tower and then unlock the rest of the scene. If you want to put a guess in chat, go ahead and throw a number out there and let us know what you think.
The number 5 is speaking to me right now.
All right, 5. That's fun. Nice and early. I'll go specific. I'm gonna say I've seen a lot of rando room big keys, so I'm gonna say compass room upper right.
Now, we did see a heads-up play there that doesn't come up very often. Jean-Christophe was down to a single arrow. So going over to the Fountain of Happiness there and just buying a refill. Well, buying an upgrade was also a refill.
Yeah, that's a great heads-up play. There's nothing worse, and it came up in Invitational League earlier this week, where a runner ran out of arrows and had to dig around to try to grab some before they could do their climb, and it made quite the difference in the final times. So yeah, very heads-up play to recognize, don't want to risk trying to find arrows, I better just buy some.
You can do 2 mimic clips in Gannis Tower on that climb to not need arrows, but it is still a bit of a time sink if you're doing the pause buffer strat for that.
Yeah, the mimic clip is very possible in GT. I remember main tourney this year, maybe, or was it last year, where a mimic clip in GT was incredibly useful as a bow was not required to finish the seed. But yeah, it's one of those things too. If you are not comfortable with mimic clip at all, just buy the arrows. It's faster anyway. I am not a comfortable mimic clipper. I can do it if I'm hard required, but I never want to. But as we see Tyvarius grab their gold sword as they still look for their big key because it's in the worst chest in Mire.
We're 2 checks in Ganon's tower. Almost went right side, then realized, wait, no keys.
Yeah, Dr. Earworm confirming my thoughts on the qualifier for main tourney. Thanks, bud. Yeah, that was... I'm glad I dodged that scene. That was brutal. And check 7, just another key. Gonna see Jean continue left now, having already done the Hope Room. Derthys taking on their Moldorm fight with Gold Sword. You see Moldorm running away like the chicken coward it is. Tyvarius grabbing their big key from Mire, gonna push toward the back and be very pleasantly surprised.
We are 8 checks in with no big key.
Sure, really cutting it close with some of those icicle drops, but does get their Cold Sarah fight down. Ooh, that was pretty close on a couple of those.
Number 9, we got bombs. Now, for the big key, is from when Jean-Christophe went and will not be taking Derthys' count. Though, yeah, if they find it first, that may severely alter the count. 10, 11, 12, and 13, nothing. I imagine we're going to see a key from the pot and then an immediate right side.
Yeah, probably just grab keys from the DM room here to have more than enough for the climb. As we see Shooter head toward the mountain, I'm sure gonna grab their ether. Yeah, Tyvarius gonna put that cape on, employ some dash strats on the on Vitreous here, just stabbing away at those eyeballs. Oh, Tyvarius, get off that mirror. Tyvarius, get off that mirror. You make me nervous. Get off the mirror. Tyvarius, 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 Tyvarius. Okay, fine, whatever. And grabs that bow, and I'm sure is like, really? Fine, of course.
Oh, 19, 20, 21. No, sorry, I was 15, 16, 17.
There you go.
Numbers.
Math is hard. Oh, I'm in shambles.
That's the last 300.
All right, well, I had the right room, just the wrong chest.
Number 20. I thought you said rando room.
No, I said I've seen a lot of rando rooms, so that I guessed compass room.
Oh. By the way, we got a big key. Time to climb.
Yep. So here's the part of the run, and when I do commentary, I normally preach the same idea. If you're looking to improve your overall time in A Link to the Past or A Link to the Past randomizer, get really good at the climb, because you're going to do it a lot. So this is where the muscle memory and the execution just takes over. Our runners have already taken down Aga 1. This was an Aga 1 required seed. So as soon as they get done dumping Aga 2, they can just fall right into the Ganon fight.
Yeah, that's a nice thing about a required Aga 1 in an all dungeon seed.
Yeah, especially in all dungeons. Yeah. I am not sad to see a required Aga 1.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've jumped down and been called a dingus. Yeah, with the gauntlet, yeah, I feel like how fast your gauntlet goes depends on what level sword are you using, and are you comfortable using arrows?
Yeah, it's amazing how just an equipment layout can really change things. Give me half magic and a fire rod, and I will burn through the gauntlet, no problem. Take my magic or fire rod away, and now I'm like, well, this is going to be a little bit slower. But yeah, sword definitely has a factor on it. Cross keys players everywhere know the joy of the climb with fighter sword and how much fun that can be.
I may have had to do swordless in a tournament before.
Yeah, swordless. Bring swordless back. Justice for swordless.
No, that can stay away. No.
Also, I'm going to put my rant out here for a moment since I have a second. There's no inverted in League, and it makes me sad. That is all. Shooter gets their revenge on Moldorm. Going to head over, probably into TR, knowing that required Ether is there. Yes, Tyvarius puts down Helmus King. We'll see them mirror and go right into Eastern to get their last dungeon clear. Derthys pushing through the GT tower climb. Getting through the clock room just fine. Jean-Christophe making fast work of their climb, definitely making up some serious ground on their partner. Dr. Earworm, bless you, my friend. Bless you and your ideas.
Talking about inverted swordless, I had to do inverted hard swordless for one of the main tournaments one year.
Yes.
The winning time was 2.5 hours.
That's fine. I'm here for that. Yes, all inverted, all the time.
So Derthys took a fall on Moldorm too, so Jean-Christophe is right up there with him.
Moldorm just being a bully toward Derthys. Derthys have had a pretty great run throughout this entire scene, and Moldorm is just making them pay for it now. Using some of those poke strats to try to guard against being knocked down one more time. Gets the 2 swings in to blow up a certain... Not checking relegation chest. Wow. Okay. No one loves my chest. No one. That's my favorite chest. Just check it, please. Do it for me.
Jean-Christophe checked the Moldorm's last possessions, just a single rupee.
That's fine. They're the real winner then. Yeah, nice high five from Jacuzzi Gamers going into Aga 2 together here. Nice Aga backup dancer pattern there.
Aga 2 being kind? What is this?
Yeah, great setups for Aga 2. Nice double for both members. Hexodus, to answer that question, talk to your teammate who renamed it. Alright, both runners of Jacuzzi Gator are dropping down, getting educated about cheese.
Now I want fried cheese.
Derthys employing the hookshot to great appeal to get through those fire bats. Gets there 2 phases down. Okay, just gets that slash in before he decides to teleport away. Popping a potion for safety. I'm here for this.
One more slash, go into the final phase.
Yeah, pretty generous teleportation patterns here. Nice setup for a possible double. Gets it, nice. Oh, and with the immediate torch hit.
Yeah, double.
Okay, good. One more. Time for one more. Just enough. And there it is for Derthys. Down goes Ganon. Oh, nice setup for the double here. And there goes it for Jean-Christophe. As their swords raise in the air, get your Chi-Chis in chat for the Jacuzzi Gamer is going to cross the bridge here. A very quick 1-2. Finishing with a time of 141 even and a 141.10 respectively. GG's to Jacuzzi Gamers.
Winning with the average of 141.05. And Team Validation Chest Boots have decided to forfeit.
Let's see if we want to get any of these runners into the booth for a quick interview.
This seed had its troll moments, especially with that ether medallion.
Well, some of the item locations too. Yeah, Ether being one, but in general, just Skullwoods just being stacked. You know, the offense just being held in mire. And we see we have a few of our runners jumping into the booth. We're joined by Derthys and Jean from Jacuzzi Gamers. GG, both of you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry if I pronounced your name terribly wrong. I was trying. I'm like, oh man.
That's good. You can call me GC.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do then. So, yeah, go ahead and just hit us with some of your first thoughts about that seed.
As I said with my teammate, the crab bush gave us 8 bombs. That was the win.
I think we were quite efficient on splitting on how we routing this in teams, so it was quite satisfying. So that's a thing that I wouldn't like to play alone because the Skullwoods was quite nice, but if we wait the Fire Rod to go Skullwoods, was dead.
Yeah, there was some definite, like, far out checks. Magic Bat holding Samaria, Fire Rod, and Boots, like you were talking about. Just that Ether sitting on Trinex, it required quite a few climbs up the mountain. But the two of you really split up your checks very well. And it showed. The execution was on point, but the division of work was even better. High-fiving into Aga 2 was very nice.
Yes. This boulder was... When I saw the rediffusion after the game, yes, it was funny.
I just checked the validation chest with the only green rupee. I was sad.
Yes, thank you very much for that, by the way. I appreciate that.
But I didn't find the bug net, so I am disappointed.
And no one found the bug net.
Yeah, because I don't know that anyone found the net. But yeah, so you both kind of realized it was an Agassi pretty well. JC, I think you were the first one that was like, let me just get a head start on this. And then did that wide loop. And then eventually just finding the mitts just sitting in pod. Did you feel like maybe you missed an opportunity? Or was it, no, it's fine, division of work. I still checked a lot of things they don't have to now.
I was need to check like a dumpy and a hype cave, and I was going to go after, but yeah, no, it was not a top priority on my mind. The myths.
And I was okay to check pod B after him. Sorry. So I said, okay, you can go Village of Outcast, and I checked the pod after.
Yeah, talking about some of these mashed up items, that hammer immediately, or that mirror immediately leading to the hammer was like,
yeah,
here's your straight line of progression, and it was like, here's your world, go check something.
After when I got the hammer, I need to do like 3 or 4 dungeon. I don't remember, but it was straightforward. I need to do desert, ice, and Turtle Rock, and after Turtle Rock to find an Ether to do Miseria. Yes, it was very straightforward after got the hammer.
Yeah, that hammer definitely